Hey guys, it's Rick. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be making 2 cards using brand new products from Spellbinders that just released today. And we're going to go over it right now. Alright, so for my cards, I'm using the Glimmering Peonies Bundle, which includes a stencil and the hot foil plate. Plus, we're going to be using the curved Everyday Sentiments hot foil plate for our sentiments. It also comes with a coordinating die. So I'm heated up my Glimmer machine and I'm running the Glimmering Peonies hot foil plate through my die cutting machine. And I'm going to do the same thing with my curved Everyday Sentiments hot foil plates. And I actually end up doing this twice. I do it once for y'all off screen so that we don't have to watch me do it twice. This one I did with the rainbow foil, and then the other one I did with the gold foil that I used on the same hot foil plate. And there's my sentiments. We're going to go ahead and cut those out with the coordinating banner dies. Love this because it cuts them all out at one time, and they're all that curvy little banner. It's so cute. So yeah, this is just released today for anyone that's not a club member. It actually came out this morning. So you can pick these up on the Spellbinders website. I have links to everything in the visual supply list below. We're going to start off by doing our Glimmer Peonies. Actually, we're going to make 2 of these cards today. And remember, I said that, so this is going to be a little bit longer video. We're going to ink up this first one. I've removed the foil. We're going to ink up the first one with our Distress inks. And my first color is Kitsch Flamingo. And I'm going to ink up all the first layer of the stencil with that. And by the way, you can only get the foil plate and the stencils as a bundle. So if you want the stencils, you need to do the bundle. If you just want the hot foil plate, you can pick it up by itself. So we're going to do all our first layer. And if you notice, I did a gradient of my colors. So I wanted a little difference there. So now I'm coming in with some mowed lawn for my leaves, and I'm going to do some very creative masking in just a second. So just hang out and watch how I end up doing this, because I realize I might be making a mistake. So anyway, we're going to make these cards, and I'm super thankful for Spellbinders for asking me to do this. All right, we got our second layer of our stencil, and I'm coming in with picked raspberry on this layer. And this is going to be my darkest pink color. I am going to come back with another shade for one of the other ones. But we're doing that same gradient ink blending where it's heavier at the bottom and gets lighter towards the top of our peonies, because the light will be hitting it at the top. Anytime you want to remember this, anytime you're ink blending or coloring, if the light's coming in from the top, it's going to be lighter. So it's going to be darker at the bottom than it is on the top part. So this is our third layer of our stencil. This is where we're going to get creative with our masking. I'm going to use worn lipstick for this layer. And I'm just going to come in and take a little piece of cardstock and just mask that off and blend out that layer, same way we have been doing. Same thing with this one down here. And I'm going to come in with the leaves next, and we're going to add a little pizzazz to that because we got glimmer, so why not have a little pizzazz? So we're going to take and finish up our little peony right here. I love the stencil is great. It's so easy to line up and get in there. So I'm coming back. I missed a couple little buds, I guess is what you call them. I don't know. I love peonies. We used to have one at the house Charles had in Coleman, and it was just so beautiful, which is the inspiration for my other card that you're going to see. Actually, it ends up being this card. It's the inspiration for this card. All right, so we're going to come in with our leaves. I've done my first. I'm going to mask this off with some mint tape. Any low-tack tape would work. You could use your washi that no one ever uses and use that for masking. We're going to come in with our mowed lawn right now. And then I'm going to come in with a smaller blending brush and some peacock feathers, distress ink, and come right over that and give it a little bit of oomph and a little bit of pizzazz and make it look nice and bright and pretty. So there we go. It deserves 2 snaps up in a circle. And if Rick wasn't hurting, that would have been really funny. Oh. All right, so we're going to clean that stencil off. We're going to come in with our next layer. This is our last stencil. This is I think it's the last one. No, it's 5 layers. I'm sorry, I lied. It's 5 layers. So this is the 4th layer. it does the center of the flowers and some of the leaves. So you could in the stems. So I'm going to come in, do the stems first, and I'm going to do them that same distressed ink, mowed lawn, and peacock feathers, because I wanted a little something something. So we're going to do that. And I did slip, so I had to go back and fix it. I had to move it back, tape it down. It's a sad situation, but nothing messed up, so it was good. So anyway, back to our card. We're going to sit and just ink blend that out, and then we're going to come in with our peacock feather and add in some of that blue-green color, that teal, to where the shadows are, to give it a little pizzazz and oomph. And I'm going to come in and do mustard seed to start off with in my center of the peonies. And I'm going to take a smaller blending brush and add some wild honey in there and blend that out. There is that layer. And this is the 5th layer of our stencil. And I'm going to take and just do my leaves, because that's what it is. So we're going to do a mowed lawn. And we're going to come all the way over that with mowed lawn. So I'm just ink blending away, adding that pretty mowed lawn color up in there on those leaves. And then we're going to come in, we're going to add our drama with our peacock feather just where something would be overlapping, or there might be a little cast shadow, just something, give it a little pizzazz. Now I'm going to step it up even more, and I'm going to use a little mustard seed where at the top part of the stems and leaves, because that's would light would be hitting it, so it's going to have a little yellow cast, and it's going to be brighter. I just wanted to do something different, and there's the reveal of the card. Now, I have already took a piece of black cardstock and the hot foil plate and dry embossed it using the mat, the rubber mat from Spellbinders, embossing mat. And I'm going to come around my ink blended panel, and I just have I think it's a 120, 110 Copic marker, and I'm just going to color the outside edge of the piece. And I did fussy cut this out, so there is no dye. I fussy cutted that thing. I know it's a terrible situation, but it wasn't too hard to do. I mean, really, honestly. So if you notice, I took my cap off. It bled, so I had to do a little doctoring. So we're going to come around the edge. We're going to do all that. And now I'm going to take my my focal image and my embossed Glimmer plate cardstock that I just embossed, dry embossed. I'm going to add glue behind that, pop it to the front. You can decide if you like the embossed or the debossed side, whatever's up to you. It's just a piece of heavyweight black cardstock. When you're embossing, you want to use a nice heavyweight cardstock for that. So we're going to pop that on. There is my gold sentiment strips, and I've just cut those out with the matching dies. I'm going to pop those over to the side, and I'm going to decide which way I want this to go. I was trying to look at it, and I decided I'm going to do a little surgery to get more bang and a different look from my Glimmer plate. I'm going to cut it. That's right, I'm going to cut it. After all that work, I'm going to make it smaller and make it fill the entire panel it fills the entire panel anyway. But I want it just a slightly different look than my other card, what we'll be doing shortly. So this is a good way that you can get more bang for your buck with your Glimmer plates or any large press plate or anything like that. If you cut them apart, you can rearrange them on your cards just like your stamped images. You can cut them off and rearrange them and get more bang for your buck there, which is always a great thing. So we're going to add in our top piece, and I'm going to just glue that. You can see that pretty embossing up there. I decided that I like the other part up at the top, and I'm going to have this one coming up. This reminded me of the peony bush that Charles had. It was huge, and it would have some coming in, some going out. It was just so pretty. That's what I wanted to represent. So I'm going to add my second top one up here, and I'm going to flip it around and add it in. And I have it slightly overhanging the edge of the card base. I'll end up cutting some of that off. So we're going to take that leaf that we had cut out, and I'm going to attach that to fill in any open spots. And you can notice I'm tucking things under the other one. I lifted the other one up and tucked it over where I wanted it. Now we're just going to take our snips and cut all the excess off. And we are going to just cut that off and cut the other side. Check it. It's just a standard top-to-bottom card base. I had to go through and pick out my sentiments. They are some great everyday sentiments. So I've just cut off one end. I'm going to add a little foam tape behind that. And on the other side, I'm going to add just a little piece because it's going to be hanging over our little peony here. So I'm going to trim that off a little bit more with my scissors. So I wanted a straight edge on that side. And I'm going to line it all the way up to the right-hand side. I'm going to take my T-ruler, pop it down, make sure it's nice and straight. And there is my, turn that off. There's the first card. All right, for our second card, I've already hot foiled it for us. In that same gold metallic card, hot foil, gold foil. I don't know why I can't talk. This time we are going to use oxide inks over our hot foiling. So, and I've kept it more simple this time. I'm going to just use one color. I'm using Warm Lipstick as my pinks, and we're just going to ink blend all of our flowers in that pink color. For my green, I am using Cracked Pistachio, and I'm going to come in and do that next layer, and we're going to add that on there. This actually comes together super, super quick. I just had to make a note because I forgot I used Cracked Pistachio on the card. And you can see I'm speeding through this a little bit more. We are going to add on that other, our next layer. And see, if you can keep it simple and use the same ink colors, it really does go by super quick. Those 5 layers of the stencil. I did add in a little Lucky Clover here to add a little bit of a different green color on those flowers, or leaves, I'm sorry, flowers. So you can probably hear the ambulance going by right now. I'm sorry about that. But there's nothing I can do. Somebody obviously was stupid and had a problem. It's raining and people here become stupid when it rains in Alabama. Sorry. But it's the truth. They can't drive on dry roads. That's why we have to close when it snows. It's a terrible situation. All right, so I peeled up that last one. I'm going to add in my stems and our centers of our peony. I forgot what flower this was for a second. Sad. So we're just using that same Cracked Pistachio. I'm going to come in with wild mustard seed. I almost got confused. And then I'm going to add a little brushed corduroy in there, just a little bit on one of the edges to kind of give it a little dimension. Not too much, just a tad. I'm going to come in with Lucky Clover now and finish off my leaves. And we're just going to put that on there. I have said "and" about 30 times, and I'm sorry. So we're just going to finish up pulling this off, and we're going to pull that. There's our reveal. And see, it looks, I don't know which one I like best. If I like the Distressed Oxide or if I like the regular. Anyway, we're going to take our A2 layering dies. This is set B from Spellbinders. And I'm going to just trace it with a pencil around any edge that is not, or around anything that is not a floral. If it's a floral sticking out, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to draw over it. I'm just going to draw around it, trace around that with my pencil, because we are going to make an off the edge card here in a different way. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around the my trace line. I'm cutting right up below it. And then anywhere where there is something sticking out above it, I'm going to fussy cut around that super, super close, right up against the foiling line. So I'm just coming right around that foiled edge and back down below my pencil line. I do have to cut back and erase a little bit, but that's nothing big. You just want to make sure you're below it, and that way you don't have to erase too much, and you're not going to get and don't go over your image or stamped image, because that ink is never going to let go of that pencil mark. Remember, anything that's hanging off outside of the pencil line that we drew with our rectangle die, we're going to fussy cut around. It's not that hard, just super easy. Doesn't have to be, just get really close. You take your time. Remember when you're fussy cutting to move your scissor, you move your paper and your scissors only move up and down. Don't move, let the paper do the work. Move your paper and just close the scissors like you're cutting. That's the easiest way to remember about fussy cutting, and it makes it a breeze. I know some people hate it, but it's really not that bad, y'all. You can do it. So we're going to come around this edge here. We're going to cut this, add a little leaf out, and I'm going to come right around there. And we have one more little piece, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut that one little tiny piece out from, but in this stem area where you can kind of see it on there, I'm sure, on the video. I can see it right here. I'm going to take a craft knife, which I have not used since college. I tried to avoid them with all cost. But we're just going to cut that out. We'll make sure if you're using a craft knife, use something under it and have a really sharp blade. And that will go very, very slow. So I've got that all cut out, and I'm going to lay that on my card base. We're going to end up popping it up. I'm going to add foam tape behind here. I've just got some double-sided foam tape we're going to add right behind our focal panel. I'm just going to pop that on, and then we're going to peel all that off after we get it all on. And we're going to attach it to or before we attach it, I'm going to decide it's not short enough. So I'm taking my pencil, and I'm just going to take a little bit more off that top edge. So I'm just going to draw a straight line right through on there, and I'm just going to take my scissors, and that way I don't have to do a lot of cutting. I can just snip off those little bitty pieces. There's not too much fussy cutting in that. I can come around the edges of each of them and just do my little straight line. That made it a little bit shorter, so it fit on the card a little bit better. I forgot to give the leaf room at the bottom to not hang completely off, because it's okay if the top hangs off, but we didn't want the leaves to hang off at the bottom because that would not let the card stand up. So we're just going to take that little piece right out there off, and there we are able to just pop this up on our card base. Make sure you keep your lines straight when you're cutting, and clean up any edges with your craft knife. I'm going to peel that backing off, and I'm going to add a little foam tape, liquid glue behind that, so I can have a little wiggle room. Y'all know how this rolls. If you've watched any of my videos, you know how this rolls. Okay, where's my crafty peeps at? All right, we're going to add this to our card base. We're going to have the top part hanging off. And then after I made this card, I decided I wanted a little bit more, so I added a little gold gel pen, traced the outside edge of that rectangle to give it a little bit more gold. All right, now all we have to do now is add our sentiments. I'm going to zoom in, and this time we're going to use the one of the sentiments that has the rainbows. I couldn't really decide which sentiment I wanted to use from the Curved Everyday Sentiment hot foil plates. I ended up going with Just because I felt it could go more to anybody for any kind of occasion. So I'm going to add that with a little liquid glue. I'm just going to add it in the center of the card front. And then I'm going to come in and add a few of the Prism AB, which stands for Aurora Borealis rhinestones from Spellbinders. I'm just going to sprinkle those around our sentiment, and they come in some great sizes. I had never seen rhinestones that get so small. I was so happy. I mean, great variety in this pack. I have to get some more of those. So there's that. And they had lots of colors. So I'm going to have to get some more of those because I like these. Anyway, we're going to add those in. You know my rule of odds. It's got to be an odd number. Have to have our visual triangle. But like I was saying, I took and added a gold gel pen to add in a little bit more gold. Here's both cards, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Love you. Stay crafty.